Visualizing the Pure Land, the Art of Contemplation and the Gate to Rebirth in the Contemplation Sūtra. Opening. From palace tragedy to spiritual liberation. Imagine this scene. Deep within an ancient royal palace, an imprisoned queen, in utter despair, prays in the direction of the Buddha. She does not seek wealth or revenge but asks a question that transcends her personal suffering. Where will someone as burdened with sin as I am go in the future? This story, drawn from the opening of the Contemplation Sūtra, is not merely a palace tragedy but a reflection of the profound inquiry we all share when facing life's hardships, karmic burdens, and death. The Buddha's response to Queen Vaidehī is not simple consolation but an unveiling of a precise blueprint for reaching the land of ultimate bliss, painted by the mind itself. Today, let us journey into this unique and profound scripture, the Sutra on the Contemplation of Amitābha. Unlike the Longer Sukhāvatīvyūha Sūtra, which narrates a grand cosmogonic epic, or the Shorter Sukhāvatīvyūha Sūtra, which directly proclaims the merits of Amitābha's name. This sutra serves as a manual for mental training. It teaches us how, through contemplation, we can vividly reflect the distant Pure Land in the present moment of our minds, thereby opening the gate to that realm. Chapter 1. Unlocking the Sutra's title, The Key of Contemplation. The Contemplation Sūtra is also known as the Guan Jing. The character, Guan, is the key to understanding the entire scripture. It means not only to see, but also to visualize, to observe, and to contemplate, a highly focused, clear, and systematic training in mental imagery. Why contemplation? For ordinary beings like us, accustomed to relying on our physical eyes and entangled in scattered thoughts, the concepts of the Pure Land and Amitābha Buddha may seem distant and abstract. The method of contemplation is precisely the bridge and tool bestowed upon us by the Buddha. Through 16 progressive steps, the 16 contemplations, it guides us to gather our scattered minds, transform vague faith into clear inner visions, and ultimately achieve the unity of environment and wisdom. The mind creates the Buddha, the mind is the Buddha. Thus, this sutra is a perfect integration of principle and practice, faith and action. It encompasses both the profound principle of the mind. Only Pure Land, the mind creates the Buddha, the mind is the Buddha, and an extremely concrete, actionable method, the 16 contemplations. It reminds us, the Pure Land is not only elsewhere but resides in the mind that skillfully contemplates. Chapter 2. Core Structure, the 16 Contemplations, a meditative ladder from the setting sun to the Buddha's form. The main body of the sutra consists of the 16 methods of contemplation taught by the Buddha to Queen Vaidehī. This is a masterfully designed, progressive, and systematic path of practice, moving from the coarse to the subtle. Contemplations 1 to 7. Observing the environment, constructing the realm. These 7 contemplations train us to visualize the environment of the Pure Land, the dependent retribution. Contemplation of the setting sun. Visualize the western sun, red and bright like a suspended drum. This is the beginning of settling the mind, using a worldly phenomenon to fix the mind on the western direction. Contemplation of water. From the clarity of ice, visualize the Pure Land's ground as transparent as lapis lazuli. Contemplation of the ground. Further clarify the details of the Pure Land's lapis lazuli ground. Contemplation of trees. Visualize the rows of 7 jeweled trees, their branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits in full splendor. Contemplation of the 8 qualities of water. Visualize the ponds, lotus flowers, and their subtleties. General contemplation, tower view. Synthesize the overall magnificence of the land, its towers, pavilions, and musical instruments. Contemplation of the lotus throne. Focus on visualizing Amitābha Buddha's lotus throne. Contemplations 8-13. Observing the principal beings, beholding the forms of enlightenment. These 6 contemplations transition from visualizing Buddha images on lotuses to the complete form of the Buddha. 8. Contemplation of the image. First, visualize the Buddha image seated on the lotus, a transition from object to being. 9. Contemplation of the true body. A crucial step. Move beyond the imagined image to visualize Amitābha Buddha's true form, its immense size and boundless light. The Buddha elaborates on every detail of the Buddha's body, the Arya with Macron hair, halo, etc., to enable the practitioner to open the mind's eye and directly behold the majestic reward body of the Buddha. 10. Contemplation of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Visualize the majestic form of Avalokiteshvara, Amitābha's attendant. 11. Contemplation of Mahasthamaprapta Bodhisattva. Visualize the majestic form of Mahasthamaprapta, another attendant. Contemplations 14-16. The 3 grades and 9 levels, clarifying the path to rebirth. The final 3 contemplations shift focus from the environment and holy beings back to the practitioner. 12. Universal Contemplation. Visualize oneself already born in the Pure Land, emerging from a lotus, and personally beholding the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. 13. Miscellaneous Contemplation. If visualizing the immense form is too difficult, begin with a smaller Buddha image and gradually expand, demonstrating the method's skillful adaptability. 14. Contemplation of the high-grade rebirth. Visualize the state and practice of those reborn in the high-grade, Mahayana practitioners. 15. Contemplation of the middle-grade rebirth. Visualize the state and practice of those reborn in the middle-grade, Hinayana practitioners. 16. Contemplation of the low-grade rebirth. Visualize the state and practice of those reborn in the low-grade, evildoers. This is the Sutra's most astonishing revelation. Chapter 3. Revolutionary teaching, even the worst offenders can attain rebirth. The most astounding and compassion-affirming aspect of the Contemplation Sutra is the contemplation of the lowest grade of the lowest level. The Sutra clearly states that even the most heinous offenders, those guilty of the 5 rebellious acts, killing one's father, killing one's mother, killing an arhat, shedding the blood of a Buddha, and destroying the harmony of the Sangha, and the 10 evil deeds, along with all grave transgressions. At the moment of death, when the realms of hell appear before them and they are in extreme agony and desperation, if they are fortunate enough to meet a good spiritual guide who teaches them to sincerely and single-mindedly call upon Namo Amitābha Buddha 10 times, then with each recitation, they will eliminate the evil karma that would bind them to birth and death for 80 billion kalpas. They will be received by the Buddha and attain rebirth. This teaching is like the brightest light cast into the abyss of despair. It declares unequivocally, Amitābha's salvation has no threshold. It transcends all moral judgment and karmic measurement. The Buddha's power is most critical at the final thought. Even a lifetime of evil can be redirected by a single moment of wholehearted reliance at life's end. Reciting the Buddha's name is the simplest universal method of salvation. Beyond the complexity of the 16 contemplations, the Sutra ultimately condenses and encapsulates all contemplative merits into the most straightforward practice, reciting the Buddha's name. This clarifies the true purpose of the 16 contemplations. Not everyone must master complex meditative visualizations. Rather, through the training of contemplation, we develop unwavering faith and aspiration in the reality of the Pure Land and Amitābha Buddha. The most direct and universal expression of this faith and aspiration is reciting the Buddha's name. Chapter 4. Core Essence: the mind creates the Buddha, the mind is the Buddha. Before revealing the 16 contemplations and the 3 grades, the Buddha imparted these pivotal words to Queen Vaidehī. The Buddhas, the Tathagatas, are the Dharma realm body, entering into the minds of all beings. Therefore, when you contemplate the Buddha with your mind, this mind itself possesses the 32 major marks and 80 minor excellences. The mind creates the Buddha, the mind is the Buddha. The ocean of the Buddha's omniscient wisdom arises from the mind. These few lines are the philosophical heart and highest guiding principle of the Contemplation Sūtra. The mind creates the Buddha. Our mind can visualize, recollect, and construct the form of the Buddha. This is practice and the theoretical basis for the 16 contemplations. The mind is the Buddha. The essential nature of the mind, capable of contemplating the Buddha, is inseparable from the Dharma body of the Buddha. This is realization of principle, pointing to the mind-only nature of the Pure Land. This means that by contemplating the sublime marks of the Buddha, creating the Buddha, we ultimately realize and return to the Buddha nature inherently present in our own minds, being the Buddha. The Pure Land is not outside the mind. Reciting Amitābha's name is awakening the Amitābha within. Thus, the faith in rebirth in an external Pure Land is wondrously unified with the Chan principle of the mind itself is the Buddha. Chapter 5. Historical Echoes. 1 Sutra, 2 major traditions. The Contemplation Sūtra profoundly influenced Chinese Buddhism, particularly giving rise to the 2 most important practice traditions within the Pure Land school. Visualization/image-based Buddha recitation. Centered on the first 13 contemplations of the Contemplation Sūtra, this involves focused contemplation using paintings or statues of Amitābha Buddha. It greatly inspired Buddhist art, especially the Dunhuang Pure Land transformation tableaus, turning abstract faith into visible, tangible beauty. Oral recitation of the Buddha's name. Centered on the 16th contemplation, lowest grade, of the Contemplation Sūtra, this emphasizes the absolute efficacy of reciting the Buddha's name. Promoted by masters such as Tanhuan, Daochuo, and particularly Shandao, who established oral recitation as the primary practice. This simple and accessible method became the dominant tradition in Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, shaping the popular faith of every household chanting Amitābha's name. Thus, the Contemplation Sūtra serves as a bridge. It connects the foundational vows of the Longer Sukhāvatīvyūha Sūtra with the practical recitation of the Shorter Sukhāvatīvyūha Sūtra, perfectly unifying profound meditation with simple recitation. Conclusion. The Lotus and the Mind's Mirror. The Contemplation Sūtra begins with the tears of an imprisoned queen but concludes with an infinitely bright prospect open to all suffering, sinful beings. It teaches us. Practice can begin with focusedly contemplating a setting sun. Liberation can be attained through 10 final calls in life. It offers both the subtle art of visualizing the Pure Land, making faith vivid and profound, and points to the level path of recitation ensures rebirth, within reach of even the humblest life. Ultimately, it reveals what truly needs cleansing and adornment is not a distant palace but our present mind. When the mind's mirror is clouded by the dust of greed, anger, and delusion, the world is saha. When the mind's mirror is cleansed by the pure water of Buddha recitation, the Pure Land manifests vividly within it. May we all, under the guidance of this scripture, find that mirror of the mind and see within it the lotus of the Pure Land that belongs to us, ready to bloom. Finally, let us conclude with the essential teaching of Master Shandao. All ordinary beings, regardless of the magnitude of their sins or merits, or the duration of their practice, whether for 100 years or as briefly as 1 to 7 days, if they single-mindedly and exclusively recite the name of Amitābha Buddha, will definitely attain rebirth. Though contemplations are many, Buddha recitation is the shore.